Another video. Today I am going to be reading a deep web story because I find it very interesting to read deep web stuff, or like listen to it, or just all in that nature. I'm not good at reading. I'm very terrible at it. Just a warning, but bear with me. The story might be really good no matter how bad I am at reading. So yeah, let's do that. The title is I thought the deep web was a joke. Please help me. Alright. Published July 29th, 2015 at 4:14 p.m. I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. It all started a few days ago. Now I'm sitting alone in my basement praying to God whatever is outside will just turn around and leave me alone. On July 25th, I ascended into the deep web for the first time after downloading the Tor browser, toying with the idea, but being far too much of a pansy to actually go through with it. On that day, though, I manned up and went for it. What's the harm, right? I avoided clicking on anything that didn't have a description on the list of the websites, eventually going to the hidden wiki because it provided a little bit more information on what I would be clicking on. I only read, never click on anything without the fear of what would happen. That is, of course, until I came across a website advertising hitman services. I would never, ever hire a hitman for any reason. But I thought to myself that there was no way that this was a real thing. I went ahead and clicked on the link and read through the website, reading the prices for different services, beatings, killings made to look like suicide, murder, and accident. So many options for so many different types of people. I got a little freaked out and minimized the browser, closing my laptop and moving on with my day. When I got home later that evening, I powered my laptop back on and did typical teenager things. Music downloading, Reddit, Facebook, you know. Eventually I passed out and didn't hear my laptop hit the carpet or anything. The next day, I went about my regular schedule, never even looking at my laptop until the 28th. So yesterday, I opened the Tor again. In the afternoon, let my curiosity get the best of me. I opened it to full screen, which earned me a warning about how it could make tracking me down easier. Not sure how, since my IP address is in Stockholm, and I'm nowhere near there. Closing quotation. But I shrugged it off and kept scrolling without the wiki. I got curious again, and went back to the Hitman site. But it was gone. I've checked the listings and everything. The website is completely gone. A little freaked out, but not really worried. I moved on back to the regular internet. This brings us to now. I was about to settle down and go to bed when I heard something very unnerving. The crickets and frogs were almost completely silent. I live in the country and the crickets and frogs around my house are wicked loud. But there were very few sounds coming in through the windows. I sat still and listened for about an hour, and they slowly began to get louder and louder. So I assumed that the danger was gone. Now fully awake, I pulled up my laptop, feeling this little anxious feeling because of the warnings I got while browsing the deep web yesterday. In the past 5 minutes, a few things have happened. First, my Tor browser was open and running, even though I had closed it. Second, my webcam was on. Third, the crickets and frogs still going. There's something gently on my bedroom door. My basement door open. The threat never left. The threat just somehow moved inside my house. I'm typing this from my phone in my closet, trying desperately not to lose my mind. I'm trapped, guys. I don't know what's happening. Please help. Jeez, it's crazy. Dang, man. That's trippy. Then there was a reply. July 29th, 2015, 5:41 p.m. From underscore right meow. First of all, using the Tor doesn't make you anonymous, whatever the fuck it is. The FBI and the NSA have figured out how to track you by inserting malware into the Tor system, which in turn gets into your computer and reveals your real IP address. They can also see that you downloaded Tor, so they'll be watching you more closely than others. I'm no expert on this matter, but this is at least partially true, so don't quote me. The next part is which websites you visit. Never visit sites advertising illegal services. Your computer leaves a sort of footprint on that website, and if someone were to look at your computer, they'd be able to see where you've been. This is a big problem with child pornography. Once you visit the site, even by accident, you're fucked. It's not too far-fetched that this is happening to you. You left your computer on the Tor browser for days or weeks, basically leaving the door wide open for hackers to infiltrate your computer. As far as the website's been going, I'm sure the host changes the URL every so often to try to remain undetected. The Tor network is an unforgiving place for those who don't know what they're doing. Next response from the original writer of this story. July 29, 2015, 6:01 p.m. I don't know why I even got onto the deep web in the first place. It was so stupid I just didn't believe it was real. That website was the only one I visited. I don't blindly click for fear of coming across one of those live snuff films I've read about, or something like child pornography, etc. I just don't understand why it didn't occur to me to cover the webcam and exit out of it. I don't know why I didn't just restore the computer to factory settings after that. If I can go back and change everything, I would. Now I don't know if I'll get to see tomorrow. A response from underscore right meow, July 29, 2015, 9:52 p.m. The best thing to do in your situation is to call the police or go to the police station. At least try to explain to them that you just stumbled upon the website to ensure you don't run into more trouble in the future. I know that if you were to accidentally to come across another child pornography site, the best thing to do is report to the authorities, so if the host does eventually get caught or accidental visits, it's documented, so they won't come raiding your house. So that's where I'd start off if I were you. A response from the original. The malware only applies if you turn on JavaScript with Firefox. And note, visiting illicit sites does not leave a footprint because encryption level with Tor is high that if someone were trying to brute force the encryption on you, you would need a quantum supercomputer. Not trying to disprove OP's story. Oh. But you really need to read up before you try to scare people, right, meow? By the way, this isn't the original writer. This is some other guy. He came through and, I guess, decided to talk. Underscore right meow, August 23rd, 2015, 8:32 p.m. I believe I said I'm no expert a few times. And this third person, this third party, is, I guess, another respawn. Oh yes, another one hacked and located through Tor. A system made specifically so people could not get hacked or located. The original user responds. July 29, 2015, 5:34 p.m. So far the person has only been knocking. I don't know if they know I'm in here. I did make the mistake of not blocking everything the way it was supposed to be blocked. And I downloaded something through it. But I didn't think it was a big deal. Another responder. Tracking down people who are new and have the wrong settings is as easy as looking up a number on a phone book. Is as easy as looking up a number on the phone book. Another responder, Slightless Reader 123. Have you texted a friend for help? Wait, actually, that might be a bad idea. Original writer, Little Fox. Only you guys know about this. I assume it's a he. Is still knocking at the door. I'm nervous that if I text my friends for help, they either get hurt or lead him right to me. Another user. You didn't have no script enabled. Oh Lord. Ben Rich, the first responder. Tracking down people who are new and have the wrong settings isn't easy as looking up a number in the phone book. Yet again. Tried 911 yet? Says Brad2434. Original user Little Fox. I'm afraid if I call 911 they'll find out that I was on a hitman's website. I swear, I only did it out of curiosity. I could never hire anyone like that. Response, Brad2434. The way I see it is take your chances with the thing knocking or call the cops and tell them you have an intruder. So far you haven't done anything illegal. I don't think either way cops are a better option. Little Fox responds. That's true. I tried texting them. I'm waiting to see if it goes through. Brad responds. How did that go? I'm going to try and text 911 and explain that I might be in serious trouble. If he hears me on the phone with the police, they might not be able to get to me in time. I don't know if it'll work where I am. Another responder. Kate Monster. Get a knife or a gun or something. Little Fox, the only thing I have anywhere near me is a regular razor. I don't think that'll do much for me. Every weapon is related either in the garage or the upstairs bedroom. Kate Monster responds, well, fuck. Do you have anything heavy? Like a bat or a crowbar? Get a chair or something. I don't know. Little Fox responds. I have a shelf in a piggy bank. That might not be heavy though. It's one of those thick porcelain ones. And there's cash in it. I'm holding on to it now. Kate Monster responds in a joking manner. Meowth used Payday. It's super effective. Okay, I'll stop. Don't laugh or you'll get caught. Kate responds. Whoever comes in my room with it, just make sure it's not a family member first though. Then it'd be like if you came for money. Here it is. Smash. Another person responds. Are you alive? Update if you are. Nick responds. Oh, he's dead. Another responder. Mr. Anna. 2 months. No update. Another person responds. Hold your breath. That best tip I can give you right now. Another person responds. Fox, are you okay? Another person responds. You gooch? Another person responds. You're fine. Nobody wants you dead. Grow a pair. Random punk responds. Or well, a new responder. Holy hell. It's been 9 hours now. Hopefully he's alive. And that person has been in that basement for basically a year. No one knows if he survived. his last update, I have a piggy bank. And I'm holding on tight. No one will know if he survived. He never updated. That's the end of the first story. My vids, my, I see I can't speak. Next story. My visits on the darkest sites on the deep web. I've always had a really sparked interest in what is commonly known as the deep web. For an explanation on the deep web that I found to be helpful, feel free to go here. The point of this post is not, though, to act as a guide to the deep web or provide an explanation on what it is, but a place to share horror stories. And though the deep web has some good uses, it also has some incredibly dark side to it. The dark web is a small corner of the deep web, containing the stereotypical content, bulk drugs, CP, etc., that the deep web is notorious for. I took my first steps into the little excavation of mine into the darkest parts of the anonymous sites under the surface of web browsing in an attempt to undermine the stereotype that the deep web is more a home to dark and illegal websites than anything good. Well, I came out of this with more than I could ever expected. And now, my view on humanity in general has forever been changed. The start of the trip, it took me quite a while, 3 to 4 weeks, to get enough information to start really delving deep into that I will now refer to as the dark web. The small corner of the deep web that is basically House of Horrors. Lots of talking around, honing information from chat rooms, and taking lots of notes. Even had to make a couple phone calls to some more than shady individuals. Not a comfortable experience. By the end of my trek of gathering as much information as possible, at the time of getting a good contact list, I took my first steps into the outer layer of the dark web, so to speak. The hard part is that once you get deeper, a lot of sites have ever-changed URLs, extensive invitation at times, precisely entrance costs that may or may not end up as cash spent on a phony operation. A lot of it is luck, meeting people at the right time and place, and taking good notes. I had a good streak of luck and took good notes, enough to get me to the place I've entered. But what I did notice is that I got into the first site that I will talk about next. It became much easier to get into other sites, as it was much more freely talked about and more information was passed around. Chat rooms in the dark web equals information, honeyhole, first site, Centrix. I knew I had broken into the barrier when I got into Centrix. I'm just going to call it Centrix and leave out those annoying little brackets that are annoying to type, because there was 2 brackets in there. You know, it looked like the mustache that you put on it, emojis and shit like that. But anyways, back on track. Centrix was one of the most well-known general markets, so to speak. A good example is to compare it to be, I don't know what that says, or the Silk Road. We'll just say the Silk Road. Now, Centrix, from what I saw via lots of questions in the chat room over the course of a couple days, has been around for about 11 months and has been untouched by any means of being shut down, which surprises me because it has everything from drugs, guns, clothes, expensive stuff, just like the Silk Road, but to much greater extent and a lot more variety than what some sites dedicate their whole selling product to be. Centrix had subcategories for just a brief few examples: snuff films, bulk drugs, all varieties, fake everything, IDs, license, you name it. A very censored section of CPs, various legally obtained memberships, Netflix, porn, you name it. The list goes on. Another thing is a bit chilling is the fact that they took a great effort to crack down on scams. The big deal on this site, or like the Silk Road, they have a lot of scam vendors. This site didn't, and they had a lot of proof to back it up that I will not go into detail on. Samples, intros, etc. I also met a guy in the chat room that was nice, as far as that goes, for an active dark web user like himself, who verified some of the links I had collected vaguely sent me in this direction of the sites for more personal use. This was great help and led me to my next site, which from the legally and general morale of the site is what I consider the next layer gate into the dark web. Sorry, I got caught up. I lost my place. Anyways, the second site, Brink Warehouse. Yay, a site with a normalish name. Brink Warehouse was actually quite fascinating, not horrific to an extent, but had a different kind of dark blackish. Brink Warehouse, a virtual warehouse of textual guides, notes, leaked documents, books, parenthesis, one that was released online a day after it was published. Quite a popular author, close quotation. Now, at all the summaries, this might seem alright, but take into account that the guides included things like how to make a drone-based homemade explosive, and how to kidnap adolescents in their sleep. Illegal leaked documents galore. Anywhere from the US classified cases of foreign affairs also included guides on legally modifying weapons, joining terrorist groups, guided scripting and nulling bank accounts, so on and so forth. Not a fun site. The site I headed to is where it starts to get formally creepy, and where I found it is necessary to post this on No Sleep. The site with no name. I got access to this site, which I consider to be a smart and a start way to go into the darkest part of the dark web, or the deep web. Phew, that's a mouthful. From Franchester 344, who was in a chit chat, a very common deep web chat room site that most of you have probably already stopped in. Well, talk comes to talk, and we end up on the topic of snuff films. How common they are. Where are they usually filmed, and why? I get his trust. We resumed this chat in a private room that he had. And keep in mind that only getting information is my main reason for chatting. I am not into snuff films, though they do fantasize me and fascinate me. Why would he say fantasize? That makes no sense. Anyways, we talked for a good 20 minutes before, without me having to even ask. Hooked me up with a site. We are just going to use a tidbit of the site's URL to name it. So 5611 it is. Now, this site 5611 will require an invite, extensive registration, questioning, and a one-on-one meeting with what I assumed was a site director or admin. He or she was one harsh motherfucker, and the stern punishments for breaking the site rules was laid out. The guy who invited me, Manchester 344, I guess was a long time user of the website 5611, who had permission to let me take a tour of the site. Now, I did ask for a formal site name for future reference, aka so I didn't have to name it 5611 every single time. And he said that the site had no name, and that it was purely based to display its content and moderate membership. The title, he said, would only make it easier to identify, which they did not want to happen. So, 5611 had a small membership, he said. The runners of the site tried to cater to very fondly, as memberships is 1.588 BTC monthly, approximately $355 USD. Upon entering the site, I had to check the "Are you older than 18" box for the 5th time since I started getting signed up. Finally, I was in. The site's design was bland and blocky, with a pure white background, and was also very blocky. Close together in writing. In the top right corner, were the options to log out, add funds to my balance, and then small wallet emoticon that displayed an empty BTC client-side balance. But that was barely on my mind. My mind was on the center of the screen, and a single row down the center of the screen, single frames with captions, and a description took up most of my screen. The top of one had still of a table with various blades and blunt weapons laid out. The title, 24 YRF, Sleeping, Snug, Death, with a 2.25 BTC price tag along the side. The timer is in green. Text was counting down. 5:51, 5:50, 11:49. Under the timer, in the same green font, was 78 over 100. A couple seconds later, that 78 turned into a 79. Realizing hit me in the face like a bat. This was a paid snuff site. I can't read, okay? I'm sorry. This was a paid snuff site. With a shaky hand, I scrolled down through the seemingly endless snapshots and captions. One caught my eye. Quick, watch! Homeless. 0.22 Bitcoin. Large view. Low Q. It was like an attention-whoring YouTube title, but it seemed to be working. In the green font, 783 over 1,000 was displayed, a jaw-dropping number in my eyes. I was decided this needed to be documented, so I did a quick transaction, put 0.30 BTC on the site in my wallet, and clicked on the arrow to enter. It took a minute or two to complete the transaction. After about 5-minute buffer, I was in the showing. There was no chat box, only a slightly lighter border of gray static. The same green timer was now in the bottom right screen. 3, 2, 1. The square blurred, revealing the city street. What seemed to be Arabic writing was on various shop signs and advertisements. Light from a street post gave a fuzzy glowing on the screen. The cameraman, from the position of the camera, seemed to be leaning against the wall. The shot focused on a dinky red junker on the street curb. From the side of the camera's view, the gloved finger pointed towards the entrance of a dark valley, or what people call alleyway, where the man lays on his side, like a breathing pile of rags. obviously homeless and alone. The finger makes out a motion toward the car, and 3 men quietly exit the car, walk along the storefronts towards the sleeping homeless figure. The quality is total shit, but the scene can still be made out and is enchanting by my horrid imagination about what is to come. About 5 meters from the homeless victim, the lengthy group thug pulls out a plain white theater mask from their jackets, take out various small weapons, pounce around in the corner onto the innocent, unsuspecting victim. The cameraman picks up the camera quickly, shuffling a feet as the cameraman runs towards the scene, catching the thugs thrashing and stomping the man from his slumber. "Cut him up!" The cameraman's thickly accented voice commands the thugs, who begin to slash the victim at a wild speed, like hyenas tearing into caught prey. Blood sprays onto the wall and onto the thug's white mask. It's horrible. My stomach barely holds on. I can't take it. Logging off Tor, I take a few more security measures to shut off my computer. Taking some deep breaths and sipping from a Coors Light. My last visit on the dark web. Candy Palace. I logged on about a week later and never thought to go back on website 5611. I never contacted anyone from my past sites. I knew in my heart that this would be my last visit on any site of the deep web. I was thoroughly encouraged not to go on, because with website 5611, that had really been in my mind, and the last straw had popped. I had proven myself that the dark web, even though it has some good parts, is just a beacon of humanity's horrific actions. I had proven to myself that sites like 5611 and other sites exist, but I just felt the need to cover the last huge part of the dark web that is, in my mind, the worst of it all: child pornography. Candy Place is such a huge site. Do some digging and getting some sources, you will find that it is all hosted in one location in a foreign country. I always wondered that if there are all these snuff films and child sex slave dungeons that are often spoke about, that there would have to be a suitable amount of missing children cases and unsolved murder cases to go along with them. Some researchers, in asking around, concluded that many of the film murders and child porn director rings are in fact in the foreign countries, where getting away with these kinds of actions is a piece of cake. In the words of an inspiring director in a Candy Palace chat room, I will not go into specific detail about any video on Candy Place. I only will lay out some basic stats and descriptions to let you find the rest if you so please. The main chat room had several hundred chatters in total between various sub-chats. They actually had a very detailed profile of each child. An example was Tatsuya, 9 years old, black hair, and then included a list of, if I remember correctly, 83 videos she starred in, and counting. The children were usually smothered in makeup, and besides of what it seemed like a designated 2 to 3 stars, not extremely physical, hurt via evident beating, double penetration, binding, gay, forced, one-on-one, knife, roleplay, chamber and dungeon were the top of the video tags. Each one has 1 to 2 plus tags. If I remember correctly, there were a total of 17 stars. Nobody ever brought up anything if they are kidnapped, imported, imprisoned, etc. All anybody cared about was watching. So getting information off that topic was hard. Most of the scenes are filmed in various sets, such as air-style dungeons, surgery rooms, etc. No grimy bedrooms or warehouse basements. Nothing that fits a common stereotype. It was basically Pornhub with a pink, white, black color scheme, and a 6 12-year-olds, and 6 2 12-year-olds. It was a nightmare. Conclusion, I never looked at the same place. Throughout taking the research-oriented trip through the dark web, my view on humanity has been changed. Every video I watch in the name of the research chinked away at my emotions, often left me crying. Curiosity broke me. It has been nearly a year since I fully recovered. This is my, I guess, case file for my research on this subject. Now before you launch Tor and find these sites, please know there is nothing enjoyable, entertaining, or at all suitable content of this network. You will be left in tears. You will be scarred. And the worst of it all, you will never view others again. Please refrain from PMing me about this subject unless you have certain details or past experiences you would like to privately share. Update. Wow! I woke up with 34 comments in my inbox. Oh well. That's the end of the story. The guy just talked about how people, how people came and talked to him about their experiences or whatever. Let me see if there's more on this story, or if that was it. Nope, seems that's it. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And if you want me to keep doing more of these, I will. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.